This is a hard video to make because basically, and this is how the British government use lawfare against their own citizens for no reason. Monday, March 6th. Sorry, I'm just pausing when the announcements are coming on. Monday, March 6th. I have an argument with my ex in the street. I said to her, I said, stop talking to this woman, she's a silly cow, or something like that. It was picked up by the white trash neighbours. Now, what the stupid woman was trying to claim was that she had two car parking spaces. It was just ridiculous. They had clearly white trashed and basically ganged up because my ex is non-white British. So I didn't see that there was any problem. But suddenly the police were saying, do you want to go for a voluntary interview? Now, I hadn't been near police for like a long time. I didn't realise that was code for we'll nick you. So when they nicked me, I wasn't exactly impressed. And they kept me in till 5 o'clock in the morning and denied me my metazapine. Now, I was on 15 at the time. Now, what I was on at the time and what I was taking are sometimes two different matters. I'm on metazapine for depression and sleep problems. Now, one of the big problems with staying at my ex's is that I said that I wanted to go to bed early because one of the problems with the medicine is if you take too much, you don't sleep as well. So this is why I'm appealing for help from an Indian doctor, someone who knows what they're doing, not these NHS idiots. But actually, the NHS guy is actually he's an Indian and I trust him. And I need help here. So, evening came and morning came. By the time of the morning, you do not take metazapine at 5 o'clock in the morning. You will basically go straight back to sleep. So I'd had no sleep. Then it starts basically, I had a car that was was MOT out and actually had a problem. And I didn't want to drive it. I mean, in hindsight, I wish I had. The police are just so corrupt, it's unbelievable. And what happened was I ended up with the neighbours coming round demanding that I leave. Demanding. That's harassment. My ex just basically, we just sat there, discussed what the hell are we going to do. Now, by 2 o'clock, I mean, I didn't know what to do. I wanted to go back. All this harassment was going on. I was absolutely shattered. Now, given the way these people were behaving, I videoed every single interaction just in case they were going to make another false allegation, because they're false allegation trash. So what I did was I basically videoed, and they knew I was videoing. You know, one of them is a horrible person. I'm just going to pause, we're at the station. So anyway, I then, because they kept coming to the door and I was like, what on earth is going on? This is harassment. I then set my phone and, you know, I know my sound engineering. I set the phone either on the table or on the chest of drawers.
Welcome to this service.
Yeah. So anyway, the scenario was that suddenly my ex said... So anyway, what the ex does is she says, I'm going to ring the social worker. I said, we've agreed that you're not going to do that. I said, don't do that, it will cause trouble. She then went out to them. I said, why are you going out to them? They're harassing us. But then the next thing she did was she came back in. Now, I was using my WhatsApp on web WhatsApp on her laptop, I believe. I can't remember. Yeah, it was on her laptop. So I suddenly looked up. I thought, where's my phone? So she's stolen my phone. And I was like, you've just stolen evidence. And then the CPS turn up. If you don't know what CPS turn up, it's corrupt police scum. That's my word for police scum. Straight off the tip of the tongue. And they turn up, and my lying ex comes in and says, oh, you must have put it in the washing machine. No, I didn't put it in the washing machine, she's taken it. The phone, when I did its RIP, Last location, her house. She forgot something, and she forgot something big. There were two motives for her stealing the phone. One was to basically stop the WhatsApp messages, which prove what a liar she is, and the second one is if her white trash neighbours wanted the phone to make more allegations against me, which they did. So, at around 3 or 4 o'clock, the police scum arrest me again. And I said, what have I done this time? Because I knew I'd done nothing, but then I was losing it because I knew that she had stolen the phone. So anyway, they put me in the cell. This time, it's not good. I am completely going nuts. This is metazapine withdrawal 2. I was completely manic, and I don't even remember what happened. I am an extremely large guy. I was shouting, and I was shouting that I was in my own piss. Now, if you say the th or the p, and you are shouting, and by the way, I can shout all the way down from my diaphragm, just ask Bob at Speaker's Corner. And I don't even remember. And then I vaguely remember you assaulted a police officer. What? They've got no camera evidence, they've got nothing. But they want a trial. Now, I am fighting with, thank you NHS, for a proper diagnosis. I am extremely sensitive to changes in meds, and at the moment I am back on a combination of promethazine, which is just an antihistamine, and a low dose of metazapine at 15. That has sort of sorted my sleep problem out. But what happens if I suddenly stop taking it? So I thought, I'll have an experiment. Let's basically withdraw again. And this time I withdrew it so I was 2 doses off when I met Judge Cooper. Now, Judge Cooper isn't too bad a judge, but I'm pretty sure, now if you read proper medicine sites like from America, not NHS, NHS just says don't suddenly stop taking it in yellow. Now, when they put it in yellow, they mean it. But from memory on...
We are now approaching...
So anyway, I told my doctors and I told my social worker, I said, I'm going to do it. If you do not diagnose me properly, I will give you opportunity to make a diagnosis. American sites say if you stop taking metazapine, suddenly it can induce mania. Now, if you've induced mania, you have basically changed someone's state of mind. Now, I actually think Judge Cooper thought I'd been taking drugs, and actually I was as high as a kite. I can remember it well. The person who supervised me when I was going to Bullingdon Prison also thought I'd been taking drugs. Now, they didn't drugs test me. I hadn't been taking drugs. All I'd done was pulled metazapine. But this is when the corruption gets worse. I have either hard lenses or disposable lenses. And the hard lenses, you have to soak them overnight. I wore them for 3 days. They didn't provide me with any lens solution, even though I told them this was an emergency. Just pausing at the station. So anyway, it took me about 5 hours to realise that I was actually going to jail. And what an experience that was. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm in a category B prison. So for my own welfare, you really do have to laugh. For my own welfare, and by the time I got there, the high of the withdrawal had gone. Look it up. Sudden metazapine withdrawal can induce mania. And I'm going to do it again, by the way. This time I just make sure I'm not around a court. So one of the people suddenly said to me, "You're not here for what I think you are." Well, no, I was here because Judge Cooper thought I should go into prison for a week. Now, I was okay, and I told them, look, my contact lenses will only last 3 days, which they did. And so by the 4th day, I was wandering around blind. Now, luckily, I knew the wing, luckily, I knew my way back, and I was basically looking out for anyone coming to assault me. The stories you hear from prison are true. They are bad. They are really, really, really bad. And in my case, I was like, oh shit. Someone tried it on with me, I got rid of them, but again, luckily with the light and everything, I was fine. Took my exercise, it was okay. You get a TV, but you can only get BBC, so it's really shit. So anyway, by the Saturday, they said, you've got to move. I said, well, I'm out on Monday. And they were like, yeah, right. And they put me on B wing, and they were laughing. They put me on a wing where I didn't even know where I was. I couldn't see. And then on the Sunday, I suddenly had someone shouting, ruh, ruh, ruh. This was white British, and this was white trash. I don't remember, because obviously I can't see. I felt one punch, but there were several of them jumped me. I woke up with my tooth dislodged. Don't know if you can see that. And my shoulder was in absolute agony. I then phoned my brother. I phoned my brother. Well, I phoned my dad's actually, and my brother was there. I told him I was in prison. What did my brother do? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. He told my sister, because she found out about this. They did absolutely nothing. And so I was like, Scheissenhausen. And I was in agony. And anyway, the jailer came along and said, you're moving wing. I thought, oh, I could barely move my shoulder. They forced me to carry all my bags. I'd actually picked up quite a lot of shit by then. I was like, how do you get your food? You get so much food in prison. It's like ridiculous. I mean, they're like a holiday camp, by the way, as long as you don't get beaten up. And I was in agony. The guy on C Wing said it had been logged as a suicide attempt. I mean, that's some suicide attempt. I'm minus 12 myopia. They put me in with no vision. I'd just been violently assaulted, and I was holding my shoulder. It took at least a month to heal. And so when I was finally put in a cell with someone who told me he was going to watch TV all night, because I think prison just completely messes you up, I was in agony. He said, look, I'm going to call, you're clearly in agony. And they took me to the medical wing. I went to the medical wing. I got taken to a hospital in Oxford, and they x-rayed me. And to my surprise, because the doctor thought it was a dislocation, it wasn't a dislocation. Oh, so then I'm fine. This is the punchline of corrupt Britain. Corrupt, total Britain, and why an Indian doctor saved me. I'm going to pause because I need to get my stuff. So anyway, the train is now gone. So we're back to good old British corruption and why the Indian doctor probably saved my life. The dumbass British staff started going, oh, you're okay now. And I said, well, no, I'm not. I said, I don't have my contact lenses in, and I don't really fancy going blind, because you do have to do things like sterilise them and look after them, otherwise you'll go blind. Like you complete effing dumbass idiots. So luckily I got an Indian doctor, and I can remember him interacting with the so-called medical staff. He said, I am a doctor, and I am telling you as a doctor, he is not fit to go back. Now, I think this was, I can't remember, because the next day I got a call that I had the court hearing. I salute you, that doctor. I wasn't terrified of fending off an attacker. What I was terrified of was being blind and having these scum come at me on the wing, because of false rumours that go all the way back to my ex-partner, who has told lies about me. Not just small lies, big lies. Luckily, this Indian doctor probably told the prison authorities that basically, unless I was out of there, he would continue to keep me in the sick bay. I think an Indian doctor has saved my life. That is one of the reasons I took an Indian flag down to Hyde Park. Part of it was a cry for help. They are using lawfare against me. And then the other day, I'm hitching a ride, and then suddenly the guy comes out the car and tackles me to the ground. He said he was police. He acted like police. He was a total... And basically, I said, get off me. I'm now on more charges. It's unbelievable. We are living in a country which are using the law against their own citizens. They've clearly identified me as a threat to the state. Well, I'll go then, yeah? Bye UK. And by the way, it's Britain. It's one of my quirks. This country is a disaster waiting to happen. Our prisons are out of control. Everything that is said about them is true. You have serial offenders, you have violent thugs, you have gangs. The only thing I cannot comment on is Islamic gangs. I can't comment on that. They were doing Ramadan at the time. They're probably just too hungry or something. This was white British trash. And like I say, I am appealing now to the Indian, the Russian, and the American governments, if they will help me, to get the hell out of this country. It is dangerous. There are people threatening to kill me. There are multiple stabbings everywhere. Luckily, because I've got a good bike and I am very, very savvy, I can basically get myself around. I am terrified of the police. I'm terrified of what they're going to do next. They put me in jail, supposedly for my own welfare. That's a joke. Now, I've got a reasonable height, I've got a reasonable reach. If someone had come for me, I would have basically scrummed them down, but of course I didn't see them. This country is now terrifying. They are using the law against people, whereas the people who are actually doing the real crimes are getting off scot-free. They are more bothered about what you're sending on emails these days. And all I've been doing with my ex is saying, will you please tell the truth? This is why I'm in so much trouble, because of your lies. And that's the next video.